Hey everyone, welcome to The Branding Teacher, the place for entrepreneurs and small business owners to learn how to brand and market their businesses. I'm Scott Burgess, and today we're talking all things brand guidelines. Let's get into it. So what are brand guidelines and why should you use them? Brand guidelines is a guide that tells everyone everything you need to know about your brand, from how to use your logo, the proper use of your logo, how your logo should be spaced around other logos, how your logo should not be used, different colors you should be using, your color palette, your fonts, how to use your fonts, signage, so many things. All this goes into this document. Now, there are two types of brand guidelines. The first one is going to be the brand style sheet. The brand style sheet is a very simple document that shows you how to use your logo in full color and white. It shows you your entire color palette, including all the color codes that you need in order to use the colors properly. And it also shows you your fonts and the different variations of your fonts and how to use it properly. I recommend that business owners who are starting out with their branding should only start with a brand style sheet before they go into an intensive brand guidelines. And I recommend that because a brand style sheet is so easy to put together. Once you have your colors, your logos, and your fonts, it's so easy to drop into a template that I have available at thebrandingteacher.com/resources that you can download and drop all your brand into there, and it will be perfectly formatted for you, and it makes it easy for you to follow along. The importance of the brand style sheet is to have everything in one place. That way, as you're designing your marketing materials, as you're hiring freelancers or maybe even your first employees, they can quickly take this one-page sheet and know exactly how to use the three most important elements of your brand, which is logos, colors, and fonts. Once you have your brand style sheet and you're comfortable with your brand and your brand begins to grow, you're starting to grow your team, you're starting to hire more outside freelancers or outside agencies to do marketing and branding for you as you get more money flowing in and you can afford these things. That's when it's important to actually go through and do a brand guidelines. Now, a brand guidelines is a multi-page, 20 typically to 50-page document that tells you everything you need to know about your brand. And I mean everything. Anything and everything related to marketing, branding, colors, graphic design, all that is going to be shoved into this huge document. A brand guidelines takes a long time to craft. It's not something you can throw together overnight. The last brand guidelines I made took a few weeks to develop at the last company I did a rebranding for. The brand guidelines will, of course, go through everything that's on the brand style sheet, but it will expand upon it. It will tell you what templates to use for each marketing material, whether it be emails, flyers, brochures, trifolds, social media posts, signage. It will tell you the space you need around your logo when there's other logos who will be marketed with you. It will tell you how close the font can come to your logo. It will tell you the white spaces required on every single flyer or marketing material. It will even cover how to say certain things, your brand voice, the messaging, what employees should be saying. It will give people contacts. Oh, if you have a question about this signage or this marketing material, contact this person. So it's something that's very difficult to put together, but once you have it put together, it's easy to use. A personal story about brand guidelines that I found very helpful. When I first started my first real big corporate job, it was for a company called Regency Centers, and they are a multi-billion-dollar company that owns shopping centers all throughout the country. And on this very first day, I was given this huge document that was probably like 30 pages long, and it was spiral bound and was beautifully put together, and it told me everything I needed to know about the Regency Centers brand and how to use it. So as a new employee coming in to the organization, it was important for me to understand how to use that brand. And that was my Bible for the first 3 months I was there. I was always constantly referring to it to make sure that I was doing the flyers right, that I was using the right colors where, that I was using the right type of font to do headlines or the right type of font for the body copy. It was a godsend and it was very helpful. So once your organization begins to grow, I definitely recommend you take the time to do a brand guidelines. Hopefully, maybe even at that point, you might have your first marketing hire. Maybe it's a marketing assistant who can do it for you. I definitely recommend that once your business begins to grow and take off and you hire more people, you need to have a brand guidelines. So why is it important to have a brand style sheet or brand guidelines? The importance of it is so that you can keep everyone on the same page. When you start adding in multiple people, it's like a game of telephone. Well, this person designed this way. I'm going to take it and change it for me, for my personal preferences. Then that gets passed on to the next person and the next person. So next thing you know, your brand that you've created, that you worked so hard for, has been completely distorted in a way that you wouldn't improve. Your brand is your brand. It is what people are used to recognizing. So it's important to keep that consistency. As you hire more people or you bring on outside agencies to help you with your marketing, it's very easy for your brand to become convoluted, for things not to look right, for things to become muffled and confused. A personal experience of this, in one of my previous roles, the company was using multiple marketing agencies to do their branding and marketing, and it was a complete clusterfuck. The messaging that one agency was saying was different than the other agency. The look and feel of one agency was different than this one. So when I came on board to run that marketing department, I got rid of all the agencies and brought everything in-house, and that's when the brand really took off and the brand really started getting recognition on the national level, because I was able to come in, set the tone for what the brand should look like, and run with it. So definitely recommend, as you grow, you need to have a brand guidelines. Even if it's just a one-page style sheet or the extensive one, it's something that's very important to have. And remember, your brand is going to evolve over time. How your brand looks today is going to be completely different than how your brand looks 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Remember, design trends change. Your brand is going to change as your business model evolves to keep up with the times. So it's okay to go in and make changes as you need to these documents in order to keep your brand on track. So that's brand guidelines. Be sure to go to my website, thebrandingteacher.com/resources, to download my brand style sheet template, as well as a ton of other resources and templates I have for you. And as a thank you for watching this video, I just recently launched my very first course, which is Do-It-Yourself Branding for Entrepreneurs. It teaches one-man shops, entrepreneurs, small business owners, freelancers, anyone who needs help branding and doesn't know how to do it. This course will guide you through the entire process. It's a 3.5-hour course, and to celebrate it, I'm giving everyone 25% off the course. So if you go and check out, which the link will be down below, and use coupon code LAUNCH25, you will get 25% off of the course. So check that out. You can preview the first lesson, and I would love to hear your feedback on it. And I hope everyone is having an amazing holiday season, even in the midst of this pandemic. So stay safe out there, and I'll see you next week.